So Jackson, pleasure to meet you. Would you like to introduce yourself, your role, and the company you work with?
You bet. My name is Jackson Hull. I'm the CTO and COO of GoCompare Group. We're a price comparison website at its core, but more recently have expanded into a broad range of financial services for UK consumers.
Okay. So would you like to give me an overview of what you do in that role at GoCompare Group?
Yeah, sure thing. I think in my primary role, I'm responsible for managing our product engineering and data science functions, producing the software that our customers experience from us every day. I additionally manage our commercial functions in the business, including our partnerships team.
Okay. And so how did you get into AI in the first place, or big data?
Yeah, well, I think you've got to go back a couple of eras, and I don't mean the long history of AI. If we just take a view of perhaps 15 years, really I started off as a software developer, building websites and even desktop applications, and just an underpinning of any good software is data structure, understanding schemas, how to organize and architect data. So it kind of started there, I guess. Around the mid to late noughties, we started to see larger and larger data sets becoming available, whether that was web traffic, information streaming from web logs out of servers, that sort of thing, and that led into what I just call the big data era, and trying to make sense of these large data sets through new cool reduction technology really was probably the start of a glimpse of where we are today from my perspective. So and always this was in a commercial context. So I worked in businesses that took streaming location data from hundreds of thousands of consumers, from their mobile phones, for example. We would, in a different context, would personalize over 5 million emails on a daily basis using these same reduction technologies. So that became a really exciting trend, just leveraging lots of data very quickly to get to some points of insights or personalization in web experiences in particular. And that really then just sort of evolved as compute power became more economical, and the platforms themselves started to become more sophisticated, and data just exploded. Then there was a resurgence, I would say, coming out of the AI winter of the late noughties into what we do today in the form of modern ML, machine learning. So that transition really was cool. So we can run all this stuff sort of offline, reduce data down to the point of action through big data pipelines. But now we can actually do that online, which is really, really cool. How can we use machine learning and learning algorithms more broadly to augment our customers' experience live, in real time? And that's where we are today. So it's been, it starts with how do you organize data, and where we are today. It's just been obviously an incredible evolution.
Nice. Yeah. So what are the main challenges that you're trying to solve at GoCompare, especially with regards to using AI, and how are you overcoming them?
Yeah. So the vision for utilizing AI within GoCompare Group is to provide services for customers that they can't do without, that are indispensable. So that's mostly about being able to predict when they can save by looking at broad data sets beyond just the information they give us, and being able to do that, while they sleep, while they're driving. Right. Imagine a world where, as a customer, as a UK consumer, right? You wake up in the morning, GoCompare identifies, something about your daily pattern. We turn on your car insurance, at 8 a.m. You're in your car, you drive to work. We turn it off. We switch your energy tariff to a dark tariff because nobody's burning any energy while you're gone. You hop back in the car at the end of your day, park your car. We switch your car insurance back to a third party only because it's going to be sitting in your driveway, and we switch your energy tariff back to something something a bit more economical for your energy use at night. You're sitting around with the family, sitting on a couch, watching TV potentially, and of course we know that you love a particular form of takeout. Let's call it Indian. And through our retail vouchers program and very good data science and prediction capability, we deliver your favorite Indian food, no hassle, no need to pay, all because we were able to predict what you really wanted to do. So that's a vision.
Yeah.
What's the challenge? Well, there really are three challenges. The first is the scarcity of resources. It's hard to find data scientists that have experience building this form of prediction, meaning the type of analysis that is intended to enhance a customer experience, right? Lots of data scientists have done some academic pursuit, where they've worked on financial modeling, or optimization challenges, but this is a different thing. This is fundamentally putting your AI right in your customers' hands. So that's hard. There's not very many people. The paucity of data, right? There is you need lots of data to unlock the vision I just described. And although, as I said, there is lots of data available, the challenge of getting that data organized and into an area where it can be processed or learned from takes a whole cast of characters, and they all have to be working collaboratively to get it done. The third challenge is explaining to a software company, right, which an information and technology business like GoCompare, how data science is different than software development. Really, it's a fundamentally different workflow, and it has different requirements which lead to different forms of management and ways of working, and things like sprints and deadlines for software developers don't quite work if you're trying to get data science teams developing learning models. So those are the three big challenges, which we address every single day.
Okay, excellent. Well, I mean, that does, especially what you were saying about the vision, that would be great, because I think you could save me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Especially my Indian takeouts, because they are actually
there
all
you
my
go.
favourites.
That's the idea. That's the idea.
So what has been your favourite thing about, it's the morning, but what's been your
Right.
favourite thing about the summit today in terms of, have you been asked any questions which you found
Yeah,
interesting?
yeah. I think the most interesting sets of questions always are just around the use of customer data, and we just ethically feel like, based on our rich history of our custodianship, if you will, of customer data, we take it really, really seriously. And actually, we think it's a great trend at the moment. People are more aware and more conscious of the use of their personal data, perhaps because of some of the sort of less ethical actors in the consumer space. And the reason we think that's great is everything we're doing is intended to amplify or multiply the value that you receive back from that gift of providing your data. So getting challenged and getting those questions helps me sort of orient around our own stance on personal data, and there was a couple of really, really pointed great questions today that I took. Yeah.
Right. So, what would you recommend participating in a smaller summit like this in terms of the intimate atmosphere and anything like that? Do you think that's something that interests you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a smaller summit with a good breadth of attendees is important. I obviously took a look at the delegate list, and it's got a great mix of data scientists on one side, executives on the other, researchers. That sort of smaller environment is really, really beneficial for anybody who's wanting to really dig into AI, machine learning, data science. So I'd absolutely recommend this sort of format.
Okay.
Yeah.
And could you explain deep learning as though you're explaining it to a child?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you how I have explained it to my own children. So imagine you've got your football at the foot of a hill.
Okay.
Mostly round-topped hill, and what you want to do is kick that ball with a perfect trajectory up the side of the hill and have it perch just at the top. Doesn't roll over, doesn't roll off the sides, doesn't roll back to you. So what you do is you try. You kick it once, and it goes wildly to the right. You kick it again, wildly to the left. Again, comes rolling back to you. You kick it, goes way over the top, right?
Yeah.
What's happening there is you're learning all of the ways not to succeed in getting that ball perched at the top. But eventually, if you keep trying and you keep optimizing your kick, lo and behold, at some stage you will reach that point.
Yeah.
And that is ultimately what deep learning is intending to do. It's trying to optimize for a single point, and that could be your football perching on top of a hill. So.
Okay, perfect. Well,
Yeah.
even though I said it was a child, now I understand it. So, thank you very much, Jack. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.